and e-teaching are here. It is the only thing we're talking about in education at the moment. Our inboxes are suddenly being filled with free access to these sites and these tools. We fire these off to some of our staff, and in some way, either through their thinking or our great strategic management, we establish processes, systems, pathways for online learning to happen. We have Google Classroom's learning management systems and Microsoft Teams. We have plans and systems set up. We communicate to our communities what is going to happen. We train our children. We get our teaching teams up to speed. Yep, everything is sorted. And then we start to think about the staff, the business side of our roles. We question what our staff will do and how will they work. And our leadership can be seen as demanding, seeking accountability, and insisting that their time is justified. After all, we surely have to have our employees, our teams, accounting for and justifying what they are doing at home. We can't be seen to be paying them and not accounting for their time. Please note the sarcasm. Or can we? Is this how you would normally lead your team when they are with you? Are you demanding, micromanaging, confronting? Because this is how all this stuff might come across. The culture we create in our face-to-face environment comes to the fore. It is magnified when we have to move to a different environment or a situation like this. Do you trust your people? Are they self-monitoring and professional? Can they problem solve? Have you developed their sense of purpose and their ability to work in a less directed environment? How confident are you in them? Can they deliver without your constant direction? It's been an interesting time observing different systems and leaders as they work through this sudden plunge into an e-learning and working environment. The question is, are you really ready to lead remotely? Can you be an e-leader? Communication. How do you communicate the feelings and sentiments as well as the task? Is the message you're sending the message received? And how do you know that you have been understood? How do you maintain a positive and supportive culture? What systems have you got in place for that communication? Emails, live meetings, live PD, WhatsApp? Are your communication pathways two-way? How do your team get to ask you a question or seek clarification? And how do they share their successes and their challenges? Have you got someone in your team set up as a troubleshooter? Then we move on to the clarity of tasks and expectations. Do your team know what to do? And where are your quality assurance steps? Have you set up rigorous, robust and transparent systems? Next, protocols. Obligations and freedoms. What are they allowed to do and not allowed to do? How much flexibility do they have? How do we work? How often do we log in? What hours do we work? What is our online vocabulary? Can we create other things outside the brief? What internet tools can we use and what can't? What can't we? Do I have to make videos and do live classes? How do I respond to parents? In what time frame? Video content protocols and vetting, photos, site approval. Do your team understand all of these before you begin? And then a biggie. Let's move on to employee needs, because I think this is one our leadership overlooks during e-learning. Do your team know how to work remotely? Have you taught to them? And that's not just opening up the computer, that's about managing themselves. Do they know how to manage the distractions of the television, their children, the dishes, the washing piles, and the attraction of social media, and get on with their work? Have you thought about their well-being? This one's huge. Teachers are social creatures. Teaching's a profession of interaction and being together. Workplaces are about connection. We concern ourselves with students who may have to work at home alone and manage their learning themselves. Have you thought about your teaching team? How are you going to check on their stress levels, their well-being, their lack of social interaction, particularly when restrictions are being imposed about accessing the workplace? Normal social occasions are shut down and access to regular work buildings is cut off. How do you keep that teacher who is there without family and friends about, engaged, socially alive and energised, confident and not scared and nervous? A week or two in, they will feel isolated and scared. The novelty wears off. What plans do you have to deal with this? How do you create a sense of connectedness? And then, how e-savvy are you? Do you know how to work remotely yourself? Do you know how to use these platforms? Can you send messages to your community without your secretary or assistant? Can you run an online meeting, flick screens and put people into discussion groups? Are you ready for an e-leading environment? Are you receptive, open to change, quick to adapt? Do you have the ability to adjust and to respond quickly? Are you decisive? Are you able to admit you don't know? Are you willing to problem solve and experiment? Are you ready to get it 80% right to start with and then build to the next 90 and then the 100? Are you an online learner yourself? How ready are you to not have total control? It is new for a lot of us. You can't micromanage as an e-leader. You have to have an element of trust. Are you ready for this? Because it's here. It's not coming ready or not. Create your own learning context for support. You're not in this alone.